Nasema unga ngano na nini nyingine mama?
Niongezea hapo sukari kilo moja. Itakuwa pesa ngapi?
Inakuwa 230 tu mama.
Haya, sawa.
Wewe.
Sema customer.
Mnauzia huyu msichana na dada yake na ndugu yake walikuwa quarantine juice.
Wewe unasema nini bwana?
Hawa wanafaa kufunguliwa kaduka kao huko mbali.
Sitaki unyanyapaa kwa duka yangu. Haimaanishi kwenda quarantine ati mtu amepata huko ugonjwa ya corona. Huko ni kwenda kujua hali yako. Hala? Peleka udagu huko nje sitaki upusi.
Kupitia quarantine haimaanishi uko na virusi vya corona. Tunafaa kujua kwamba mtu yeyote ambaye amepitia quarantine amepimwa na anajua hali yake ya corona. Kwa hivyo tujiepushe na unyanyapaa kwa watu ambao wametoka quarantine.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Uraia Trust wakishirikiana na Kenya Medical Association.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and our fellow viewers. My name is Philip Juma, and I'll be your host for today. And we thank you all for joining in Zoom as we want to begin. On my right here, we have Austin Okore, who is a youth and an online entrepreneur. And we have Brian Maina, who is our civic educator and TOT. And on my left, we have Susan Wairimu, who is a gender champion and the founder of House of Hope. And we have Julian Ekesa, who is the project coordinator of FODAG. So we want to begin this. Feel free, comment, say anything, and as we begin, may the Lord bless us. So as we begin, we start.
Thank you, Mr. Philip Juma, Director Takamari Initiative. Thank you for the organizers of this meeting, FODAG, that is the Forum for Women in Development, Democracy and Justice, under the Uraia Civic Education Program. Thank you, viewers, and thank you, the technical team. This is the second time we are having such a meeting, and we are very grateful, and we believe, and we trust, probably maybe going to have a very productive session today. And can you allow me probably maybe just to do a brief introduction?
Just a minute, sorry about that. I'll be co-moderating with Philip.
Yeah.
So it's good to introduce the panel so that our Zoomers know what to expect and how to participate in the meeting.
Yeah.
So Brian Maina will be talking on civic education, the youth participation in civic education. Then my colleague there will be talking on online business, how the youth can make money, especially during now the COVID era that we are at home, how they can make money online. Then Susan is a gender champion. She's a young mother, a single young mother. So she'll also be talking to us about the experience of young mothers, single young mothers, how their space, especially now that we have COVID. Yeah, and then we also have Mushiri, who is a ward admin. He'll also be talking to us about the office of the ward admin, how the youth can also access this office, the help that they can get. And also we have Eva, who is a public health officer in Kajiado North, will be talking to us about COVID as a technical person from the ministry. And also on standby, we have a clinical psychologist, Jackie. So in case somebody has any mental health issues, they need some counseling, psychological counseling, Jackie will be on the standby. Thank you so much.
Continue, Brian.
Thank you very much, and sorry for that. That is very important, Nekesa, that is to introduce the arrangement. That was your responsibility. Thank you very much. Anyway. So kindly you allow me, probably maybe, I'll just go straight, probably maybe to a few areas, topics that I've prepared that we're going to probably maybe to discuss, especially moving from where we left the last time. One is because we know, like, for example, today we're talking about youth participation, youth and public participation in COVID-19, during and after COVID-19 period. And we're talking about the Constitution. What does the Constitution have in relation to the public participation? And probably maybe moving from that notion of public participation. Kindly you allow me probably maybe to look into the preamble of the Constitution, which probably maybe will help us probably maybe internalize with the thinking around public participation so that we get to know how it is enshrined in the Constitution and in our daily lives, because it is a practice that we practice, but sometimes we practice it not knowing that is what exactly we are doing. And two, it's also part of governance, because we are also part of government as citizens of this Kenya. So we're looking at, for example, in the preamble, we talk about we the people. So when you talk about we the people, it is all of us, the 47 million Kenyans. That is the we the people. That is the first statement in the Constitution, we the people. Then going down from we the people, we're talking about, for example, all of us, we are committed. There's that capital name written there, committed. Committed to do what? Committed to nurturing, committed to protecting the well-being of individuals, families, communities, and the nation at large. That is, all of us, we are committed to do that. That is the preamble, that we are moving into that commitment. In number 3, we are recognizing aspirations of all Kenyans. That all of us, we have aspirations. When we were born, when we became of the age that we are in, we have aspirations. That everybody wakes up knowing, like, for example, today I have to eat because I'll get hungry at some point, and so I have an expectation that I will eat before the day ends. I'll have to put on a cloth at the end of the day. I'll have to get treated when I get sick. I'll have to, get other needs and expectations of life. So those are the aspirations that are in every Kenyan. And for a government, we have also aspirations of an essential government, that has feelings of individuals, of its own citizens, and that government that recognizes the values and the human rights of those citizens. So that is our aspiration. That is what we wake up every morning asking, that the government care for us. Does this government know that we are here? Does this government know that we don't have jobs? Does this government know that this is the hassling that we have been through? So this is part of the preamble, that is the Constitution of Kenya. And you read it, you people, like, for example, to understand, these are the contents of that preamble. And then you should, like, for example, now call for debating amongst the youth, or among the citizens, and we ask ourselves, what is our role when it comes, like, for example, to those aspirations? What are our roles then that we need, for example, probably to discuss? So you're talking about, like, for example, equality. That is number 1, right? Item number 1, it is equality. Item number 2 is freedom. Okay, like, so the questions comes in. We have that equality. Are we equal in this country? So those are areas that we need, like, for example, to deploy some discussions around. And number 2, we talk about freedom. We have freedom. We really enjoy the freedom. We have the spaces of enjoying that freedom. In number 4, democracy. What is that democracy thing that we always talk about every day? Since we were born up to today, we're talking about the democracy. Is it really practical? Is it really there? Is it there in essence? So, and then the social justice. So you're talking about, like, for example, what is social justice? I'm just triggering the discussion so that at least when you go, like, for example, now to open up the discussion, then you can people, like, for example, not to bring on board, then you discuss this issue so that at least during this COVID times, and even after the COVID times, and even what, for example, will shape our future will be developed on this. And then lastly, we're talking about the rule of law. Like, for example, we know for sure in Kenya we have a law. We have the Constitution. We have other laws. Like, I've carried with myself several acts of law that we shall be looking into maybe sometimes later. So the question is, do we obey our law? Do we follow our laws? Do our police follow our laws? And now this one also now triggers another discussion that we're going to have at some point. This is about, like, for example, the extrajudicial killing that you normally witness around. When the police, like, for example, go and shoot young people there, they kill them, and those kind of things. There's also what you call forced disappearances. Someone was picked up by police at some point and has never been seen 2 3 years down the line, and so we just saying that he was picked up by police. That becomes a story. Then the other thing is torture. So, like, for example, when you're arrested by the police, you're taken to the cell, you are tortured, you are done, ABCD, those things that you normally read in the press. And, so, do we, like youths, do you normally, like, for example, understand the laws that goes around that? And, like, for example, the human dignity, that inherent dignity of a human person, which is enshrined in the Constitution. So, maybe before going to that part, I would request the moderator, probably maybe we have a discussion around that area of the preamble, the content of the preamble, then we go probably maybe to that area of human dignity.
Thank you, Brian.
Extrajudicial killing.
We'll come back to you. So next panelist, we have Susan Wairimo, who is our gender champion and founder of the House of Hope.
So just before Susan comes in, maybe we'd like to tell our audience there, they can ask questions, inputs surrounding what Brian has talked about, the preamble, the rights of the youths, and what they know, what they really would like to be informed on as far as the Constitution is concerned. So they can keep their questions, they can side chat, or when the time the question answer session comes, they can ask those questions, those burning questions with the Constitution. Thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Susan, and I will be talking about the current situation that young mothers and teenage girls are experiencing in such a time. And one thing, when we talk about young moms, we have to understand that it's a mother and a child. So these are two people who are being affected. Let's first of all talk about this child. One, when with the coronavirus cases, the schools were closed. So right now we are having the kids at home. So you find that for this young mother who lives on hand-to-mouth basis, has a child or children who are at home. So you find the expenses, if let's say they used to survive on 2 meals, it is forced to even go to up to 4 meals. So you find that the burden that, okay, let's call it a burden because, yeah, it's really a burden, though it's a responsibility. So you find that it becomes very hard for this young mom to provide for this child. And at such a time when kids are at home, you find the level of the kids being abused is very high. Because you're finding that, let's say for the young girls, even for the boys are being sodomized, girls are being raped. And in most cases, this girl will not be raped by someone who's from far. These are people who are from within. So you find with these cases, with the lockdown and the quarantine thing, this girl is forced to be at home. And right now, even if someone is raped, the government has not put in place, if someone is raped, where do they go to? What are they supposed to do? So these are the kind of conversations we need to start having. Because the level of gender-based violence has really increased. When a girl experiences this, what are they supposed to do? Because you find at such a time is when the level of teenage pregnancy will really rise. It will really rise. And even STDs, STIs, HIV and AIDS, these girls are going to be infected and affected. Even for the boys, we are not excluding anyone. So long as you're at home with this thing, you have nowhere to go, the level of this happening is very high. And even for the moms, you find that, let's say this is a young mom with 1 kid or even 2, and they're married to someone. This man, you expect him to provide everything. Because you see right now, no one has a place to go and get their source of income. So you find that as the young mom is at home and the husband is there, now that is when cases of mental health comes in. Because you find that you expect this man to provide everything. The wife is there, the child is there, and you find that this lady is not going out is not going out because they want. It's because they are forced to stay at home. So you find they are abused by their partners, and you have nowhere to report because this is your husband. So you'll be forced, you will be beaten, you will be done everything, and you will remain in that same house. And also because my area of interest is in reproductive health, at such a time for the young girls who are in school, you find that they were used to the sanitary towels which are being distributed in schools. Right now, there's nothing like that. For the girls who are from the less marginalized communities, they have no place to source for a packet of a sanitary towel. And the only option they will have is to exchange sex for this. And now what is the result of that? It's pregnancy. This girl will become pregnant because of the sanitary towel. Also, at such a time is when the cases of FGM are happening right now, because you're at home, there's nowhere you will go, no one is moving, and you will undergo the FGM. Even early marriages, these are the times which they are on peak. So I think it's a conversation we really have to engage in, and also not forgetting we have those who are disabled. What are they doing? Where do they get their rescue at such a time? You find that, let's say if it's a girl or a boy, they are disabled. With such a time, their situation even becomes worse. Because most of them were in schools. Right now, you're at home. There is no food. There is no nothing. So it becomes a very big challenge. And yeah, so that's why we're just calling upon each and every person. Take your responsibility. If it's the husband, if you're having your wife, your child who are at home, you have nothing to provide. I think we also need to bring in the situation of counselors, because okay, we won't blame anyone for getting into mental health, because it's that time. Even for the people who are working in the high paying jobs, they are experiencing this. So it's high time we try to bring the services so that we involve everyone and try to reduce this.
Thank you. As you are moving on swiftly, we need those reactions, the comments, and everything. And she's a gender champion fighting for the rights of young moms. And now, one question. During this coronavirus period, have you ever known that maybe you can earn doing jobs online? It's just a question. So this next panelist, who is Austin Okore, is an online entrepreneur. So I want to give him this platform, at least to explain or maybe to expound more on how he deals with this online network and entrepreneurial things.
Okay, good evening, beautiful people. My name is Austin Okore, and just before I go on, I'm an artist. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've managed to participate in a lot of state functions, weddings, gigs, and all that. Being an artist, or just being in the youth category, I've realized that with the event of the coronavirus and how it's affecting us, we've realized that the unemployment situation in the country has, due to also economic crisis that will happen during 2020-21, and you find that a lot of people are going to face a lot of challenges in terms of looking for jobs, let alone looking for jobs and still participating in the quarantine lockdown situation. So you find that most of the people affected are the youths, yeah? People like artists, people like self-employed people who do not have job options to get salaries when they are still working at home, or when they do not have job salary opportunities by just staying at home and still generating income. So we have found that as artists, as youths, we are being faced with this challenge. And as an artist, I ask myself, are there any other alternatives to this situation? So I managed to just using my phone, just go through online, like it was 3 months ago, and just scribble through any opportunities that are in that are online. I do realize now that because of this situation in the world, you find that a lot of jobs, more than 70,000 businesses have closed in Norway, more than like a lot of companies have been declared bankrupt, let alone self-employed companies. And you also find that as a self-employed, it's one of the hardest categories, because there are 4 categories. There's employee, there's self-employment, there's business, and then there's investor. Most of our people, we find ourselves in the self-employment in the country for the youth. And you find that right now, 90% of the self-employment category is being affected considerably, in that the government is telling us to keep social distance, while at the same time trying to generate money to pay our rent and all that. Well, I realize that there's a very interesting economic situation happening in the online system. So basically what is happening is that as in 2020, there's the technocrats, there's the technological advancement that are happening around the world. This is an opportunity for every single person to be connected to the whole globe and to generate both active and passive income. And this might not be an opportunity for all the youths, but I do realize that there are youths who are also educated, youths from campuses, university, colleges. Also, just youths who have mobile phone, and because we all have access to, if you don't have Wi-Fi, then you can have access to bundles and data, yeah? So I just believe that this is an opportunity for every single youth to take advantage of this, because we are also millennials. We have gotten access to mobile phones, and there's a lot of opportunity here. So basically what I wanted to present today was in the context of an online entrepreneur. I'm not just going to go very specific in the kind of business. Well, there are a lot of online opportunities that I will get to share with you maybe in time, but I'm just going to speak generally about the online entrepreneurship business that right now, as we're speaking, like right now, we realize that we're using Zoom, yeah? Zoom was not a company that had a lot of revenue and turnover. But in this time of coronavirus, you find that every single platform, schools, they're using the Zoom platform, yeah? So just generally, we can see that companies like Facebook, companies like all the social media companies, YouTube, Google, you find companies like all companies that are using technology, yeah? Now you find restaurants which are doing online deliveries. You find that these companies, they're actually adapting to the situation, yeah? So then there's a lot of opportunities from companies. You find that, let's say, I'm talking about online digital entrepreneurship. So what I'm trying to communicate across with you people is a business which has combined three models. The first one is the affiliate marketing model, where you basically, let me start with the collaborative economic model. In the collaborative economic model, the company does not basically sell anything, but links these members to other third-party companies which provide services, yeah? So think about Airbnb, yeah? They do not have hotels, but they just link people they link products which are housing with other people who need the products. Think about Netflix. Right now, everyone is watching Netflix, yeah? They're just linking people who are creating movies with people who are watching movies. Think about Facebook, yeah? Facebook does not own anything, but it has 3 billion members, yeah? Subscribers, yeah? And it's just basically analyzing their data and selling to you using your data to other companies what you like, yeah? So, but if you find that something about collaborative economic model, most of these giant tech companies, you're signing up, but if I like, everyone here is in Facebook, I do believe, and when you join Facebook, you told your friend, hey, sign up on Facebook, yeah? Were you paid? Well, we were not paid. But what if I told you there's an opportunity where if you actually recommend someone to take part in this online space, you'd actually get paid because of that, yeah? Number two, so when this Facebook company probably generates revenue, do they pay you? Like when you take an Uber and then they generate revenue, do they pay you or do they pay the drivers? Well, what if I told you there's a platform where if you participate as a customer or when you participate as a member, forming the crowd in that online company, then the turnover that they generate is also what they use to actually pay you. And I'm not just telling you that, but actually it is happening right now. Well, I'm part of it, and I have considerably managed to generate a lot of. A lot is relative, but because I'm growing in it. I mean, even if I do disclose how much,
maybe like 6 figure, then
I have not gotten six figures, but I know people who are helping me build it that have gotten six figures. That I'm actually, the good thing about online business is it's not like the traditional kind of setup business where you're a small fish and you're trying to build your business, and the big fish, they're very competitive, so you get out of business. Yeah, this is a situation where the people who are above you, they're mentoring you. It's like basically getting to have an opportunity with, let's say, someone like Chris Kirubi, and he's just mentoring you how you need to actually earn money. And well, this is the same situation that is happening online. People are saying there are not enough mentors. We need the government. All I'm just trying to say is that actually, with the knowledge, we are in the information period. We are translating from the industrial age to the informational age. And 2020 is a very clear transition where we will actually see right now all companies from the technology side, they're actually making profits that are soaring. All Facebook and all that, and all these companies that are dependent on the brick and mortar, then they're making a lot of losses. So this is a situation for the youths to see that they do not have to always go out and have to work so hard in the hot sun and feel like they have no alternative. But this is an opportunity for them to go online and find that there's a lot of opportunities. There are mentors who want to build them, want to help them grow in business. And this, I'm not talking about companies that are spending, you're forming a company that is going to take you 5 to 10 years for you to generate, to even get even. I'm talking about a situation where you can generate income passively or actively within a period of between 1 month and like 3 months. So it's just about how hungry you are. But I am very willing to show you what basically this is.
Thank you. I hope you have other things you're going to tell us.
Okay, sure.
This one was just to ice break what each and every person does. So as we move, we have now on online, we have Eva, who is the Public Health Officer, Kajiado North County. So kindly, can you?
You can all hear me?
Yes, Eva.
Okay, fine. As he has said, my name is Eva from Kajiado North Sub-County, a public health officer by profession. I started practicing in 2017, November. And I'm grateful for this chance to speak to the youth. I'm a youth also, though a mother. And I feel it's a good chance to
Yes.
in this situation, the youths are the most affected. In this situation, most of them are the caregivers, they are the providers, and this is the part of the economy that you are holding on, because if not for the youth, I don't know where next we will go. And as we know, in our country currently, most of our youths are jobless. So at this time, we need to get to know, as we are responding to COVID, even from the health sector, from the entrepreneurial sector, how safe are we? Are our friends safe? Are we ourselves safe? And what can we do to contribute to our safety, to their safety, the safety of our parents? Because at the end of the day, you being healthy wherever you'll be in your hustle will matter. What if we take COVID positively? We stop stigmatizing each other about it and take it positive. See the strengths and the things that we can do during this time, even as you're at home, even when you're locked down. Try see opportunities, like he said, there are very many opportunities, maybe online, maybe you can exercise your CBC skills. I'm so sure most of the youths right now, from 35 years to around 28 years, most of them experienced the CBC system during our time. There are those people who can draw and they don't know that art is theirs. There are those people who can do crocheting, they don't know that is their part. So can we try utilize what is available as much as we keep safe? Also, I feel when you are a youth, you are responsible not only for your parent, your sister, your brother, but also for the next person who's around you. Because we need to be cautious, and we are the only people who can make the community cautious. This is by making sure if you are told to wear the mask, are we practicing it practically? Ama is it just something that is just happening? We want to see others wear mask. Basically, I'm worried by this. Sometimes when you're walking on the streets, the old have their mask on, but the youths don't even care. We are not even looking at that like an issue. People are thinking that this disease is just affecting the old and people who are compromised, but currently I'm in an isolation center. That's where I'm working in Olekasasi. Where Mushiri, the admin, is the head, and it is not an easy situation. Let me tell you, it is not easy. It is challenging to each and everybody. As much as you can get trained to be covered, to have everything, but it is still challenging. Remember, we've left our families back at home. And when we've left them back at home, are they also keeping safe? As much as I'll struggle to keep safe for them, are they keeping safe? So even as you go out for that hustle, make sure whoever you left as home is keeping safe. You can go out, keep safe, but when you're back, the people you left messed up. So we need to have this from inside our hearts to care for our parents, especially those who are sickly, their immunity is compromised. We need to know how to protect ourselves. Even if you don't have a sanitizer, kindly, nowadays water and soap is free, I believe, to all premises, even if you're not buying anything. If you feel you're not safe, just walk to a supermarket door, wash your hands with soap and water, proceed to your other businesses. That will make us feel a bit better safe. Some people are getting challenged because of sanitizing, washing their hands. I would encourage everybody to wash their hands with soap. That is the best method. The other thing is, how responsible are we in terms of this? I'll speak this one. As youth, especially men, as Susan has said, before a lady becomes a single lady, there was a part of men that formed that. So men, how responsible are we? You're home right now with your girlfriends, with your sisters, with everybody. But as you go out to make it out with your girl, how responsible are you? Do you want her to become a mother because you're not ready to become a father? So with this, if you're not ready to become a father, kindly, can you walk up to any public health office near you, to any health facility? There are free condoms. Kindly keep safe, not only from pregnancy. Nowadays, we seem to fear pregnancy more than HIV. We fear pregnancy more than STDs. We fear pregnancy more than anything. But at the end of the day, it is our health that matters. So also for young men, and as much as also young ladies, you're involved in this, walk, go somewhere that you can get help. That will help us do. Then I have an issue on what best can we do. For now, I would say what best we can do for those who are in the chance of taking advantage of the situation. If it is the current business like selling of masks, try research, as you said. If you're online, if you're not, try share with your friends the message that you can get. We have things like those masks. We have a company in Rongai called Soed. They are dealing with disposable masks, 25 bob per piece, but you have to buy more than 1,000 pieces. So you see, if you are youths, you can join each other, help each other achieve these, and you can sell them even at 100 bob, which is an advantage. Also, I was challenged by somebody at my workplace currently. She's doing crocheting, and she gifted me this one, if you can all see. It's a warm cape to wear, which is a very good thing. That's a business. Who knows about it? You're seated in the house, you can do crocheting. I know the yarn is around 70 bob, the crochet is around 30 bob. That's 100, and you can start earning a living by that. We can also utilize something, soap making. We are all buying chemicals to make soaps at home, and it is easy. You can try that one. If you sell 3 liters maybe per day to your next door neighbor and plot, that can also help us at least put food on the table. Also, we can try for those who are not in the town setup, maybe, especially in Kajiado North, Kajiado west. Most of our youths are somewhere where we have lands. Currently, we have rains. You can involve yourself in small farming. It can help us a bit. That would be better. So,
So continue. Continue, go on.
yeah, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
My last bit was about counseling and how we can keep busy with all these activities to avoid psychological torture. I know it is not easy staying home with your parents, with your siblings. Some of us feel so grown, we are not ready to share the amenities we have at home. But I believe these are times, if we take it positively, we can make the best out of it. So if you are a youth, you're depressed, you have something, you can stretch your hand to the nearest facility. I'm sure there is a counselor, and currently the county has done that. It's providing counselors in almost all facilities to provide with that. Not only to us, even our parents, we can advise them to go for counseling in case they are not able to handle the situation at home. And remind you the last thing, that drugs are not the best at this time. What is best is to keep sober so that we can have a sober country, a sober community, and a sober youth for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. I have 3 questions for you. Please don't
Kindly.
I'll ask you.
Okay.
Yeah, just in a moment. I'm asking you the
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. As we move, that was Eva, who is the public health officer, Kajiado County. And some of the key points I've picked when she was talking is one, during this time of COVID, there is enough opportunities. So, like us youths, we need to take advantage. Yeah? Of still, yes, there's a situation. How are you reacting to that situation? Matters a lot. Like Austin has said, there's online, there's this, and 2, wear a mask. Don't just wear a mask because you have seen a police officer. Ama umeona gari yote imefika. No. How are you keeping safe? Is this thing inside your heart? And lastly, what she has said, our health matters. No. Tusifanye tu ati I can't wear a mask, I can't do this, I can't do this. No. And we have been told, wash your hands with soap. It's the best because she's from the health, so they know better. And I know we are going to get back to her. Next, we have our ward administrator, Mr. Mushiri. Is our next panelist.
Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Very well.
Okay. My name is Samuel Mushiri. I'm the ward administrator on Ngata Rongai. And today, first of all, I want to apologize because I was supposed to be in the panel, but unfortunately, I'm doing my classes. I'm doing my online classes. I've even just stepped out of class so that I can attend to this meeting. First of all, I want to congratulate you for this effort that you have taken, that even you have seen it possible for you to bring the youth together so that we can discuss about the welfare of our youths around here. So I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you and tell you that we are privileged to be part and parcel of you this particular day. So I want to take you through a journey. First of all, because I'm told that most of the people have been wondering, what is the role of a ward administrator? And today, particularly, I want to speak about that so that we can pick something and get home. I managed to, by the grace of God, that I was employed by the county of government of Kajiado late last year, early last year, that was on May, and that's when I became the ward administrator of Ngata Rongai. What are some of the responsibility that carries along with the position of the ward administrator? Number one, there is the MCA, and MCA is, when he goes to parliament, his main effort in parliament, he works as a legislator. And then when he legislates, he brings the money or anything that he has gotten from the county level. He brings it to my level, and after bringing it to my level, that is when I take the executive part of it. So my role, I usually give people a very, very simple explanation. My work as a ward administrator, I'm the watchman. I'm your caregiver. I'm the one who takes care of whatever the county government has empowered me to do it. What is that? We start from each and every department that is there in the county. Let's take, for example, there's the Department of Environment. Those are issues to deal with ensuring that our environment is clean. There's issue of garbage collection. Under it, there are many departments, but all of these departments, I'm the one to supersede and ensure that they work to the letter. There is the public health. We are talking about like now the frontliners. Yes, they are the frontliners, but when we get to the level of reporting, you'll find most of the times I'm the one who is supposed to go and report on their behalf. We have departments of education. We have a department of sports where most of the youth fall in. We have the departments of revenue. All these departments, all of them are under my docket. And what do I do? You have to respect each and every department which has heads. We have heads of department. But my main obligation and my main call is to ensure that there is smooth running. In terms of any challenges, I'm the one who is answerable. And today, because we are seated here with youths, even, and a good example is Philip, who is seated there. When there are programs, different programs, I'm the one who comes as a link to ensure that the different youth groups that are there, they are connected to the county level. Whom am I answerable to? At this level, I'm answerable to the sub-county. The sub-county is in charge of 5 wards. When we talk about Kajiado North, for example, there is Ngong, there is Ololua, there is Olkeri, there is Ngaimurunya, and there is Ongata Rongai. Under all of us, we are answerable to the sub-county administrator. But our position as we are seated in our various offices, we are the representative of the governor. So if there is anything that the governor needs, it comes down to us. We are the ones who gives feedback. We are the ones who play that role of ensuring that the presence of the governor is felt on the ground. And today I want to continue urging the youths, and I've been very, very vocal in this to ensure that they're comfortable in their different aspects of working. For example, when they need these permits, sometimes there is a challenge, or maybe for the youths, maybe they're coming up together, they want to do a cleanup, and sometimes they have a challenge of even paying that fee that is supposed to be paid there. I come as a link. I ensure that through my office, we write down a letter. I've always helped them. They write down a letter, and we forego those small fees to ensure that they can run well. Yes, this particular time, I know the youths are having questions, especially this time of COVID-19. They're asking themselves, what can we do? The other day, we had the Scouts Association of Kenya, and they contacted me, and they had come up, almost 20 of them, and they came to my office and asked me, what can we do as the Scouts Association of Kenya? I told them for this particular time, we are working on a constrained budget. But one thing that you guys can do, you can volunteer. And if you can volunteer, what we can do, you just come up with a small budget, even if it's facilitation of your transport, and even if it's lunch. And as the county government, we provided masks, and they came almost 3 days. We provided some masks to them, and they went there to the street. They gave it out to the people, and even not more than giving out. And this is what I want to carry today. This is what I want to request you. I want to request you that if possible, you ensure that at this particular time, if there is anything that you want to do, bring it on board. We can support you. We can ensure that we run together and ensure that everything works well. And this is for the common goal, or the common good. I'm ready to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samuel Mshiri. Say hi to Pauline. She's a friend of mine. I have
Oh, that's my wife. Thank you.
Yeah, say hi to her.
Yes.
So I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
I'll start with the last point that you've talked on volunteering. So which,
Pardon?
you've talked on, you have spaces for youth volunteering.
Yes.
So my question is, which specific projects are they volunteering in?
Mm.
And are there qualifications for them to volunteer? Do you have qualifications for them? Or is
Number
there
one.
any youth coming to volunteer? That's my
Okay.
first question. Then my second question,
Mm.
you are in the office of the MCA.
Yes.
Do we have any sorry?
Not the office of the MCA, the office of the governor.
Oh, office of the governor. So does the office of the governor has any funds to support COVID, especially the youth? Do we have any funds in the office of the governor to support youth during this period of COVID?
Okay.
If there are, how can they access them? And what are the criteria that they're supposed to have to access these funds? And my last question, can you talk something about youth and public participation? We have an office of, I understand we have the office of public participation. Who is
Yes.
in charge? How can the youth get information about this office? And where are the office?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just go. Number one, for clarity, I'm the ward administrator. Me and the MCA, we work in different offices. And as I began, I said the office of the MCA, their work is to legislate. And after legislating, they bring it to me. My offices executes in terms of ensuring that everything has been used to the letter. I'm the one to write a letter and say, the so-said contractor came to the grounds and he did what was supposed to happen. In terms of youth volunteering, I want this to be clear. I will categorize it in two categories. There are those maybe who are professionals, If you are a professional and you want to volunteer, it depends, especially in this line of COVID-19. If you are part and parcel of the health workers, you can come to my office and I can connect you to the right department. Remember what I said there before, we work under departments. So when we work under departments, if you are a professional in terms of professionalism, you will come to my office and I will link you to the chief of officer, that is the CEO, and he can place you in the right place. Number two, maybe you just want to volunteer openly. Those, we really not need those, especially if it's a team. These are people that we can use them to go and educate the rest of the public in terms of awareness. Like now, I've seen one of our health officers was there. She talked about sensitizing people. Like last week on Friday, the entire team, Kajiado response team, they had come to Ongata Rongai. And what we were doing, it was moving around, sensitizing people, telling people that these masks are not supposed to be put on the chin. These masks are supposed to be put for your safety. And let people not be seeing officers. And when they are seeing officers, that is when they wear a mask. So what do I want to say? If you want to volunteer in that line of sensitizing people, you can come as a group or as an individual, and we can fix you with the health departments, and you can help in terms of that sensitization, and I'm sure that is going to be productive. Number two, I want to talk about funds. Right now, to be honest enough, there's no funds that have been set aside, especially for the youth in terms of this fighting for COVID-19. But the other day, the county government managed to go under the umbrella of the county assembly. We managed to save some money, around 135 million, which was deducted from various things that were meant to be done this year. But right now, the key thing that we are working on is to ensure that our facility are into PAM. What do I mean? All the facilities that we are supposed, when we get these cases of COVID-19, we want our facilities to be to par to the standard. For example, the other day we worked on Ole Kasasi Hospital, and today as we are talking, there's one health facility that is in Gataka. Because of the need that has been there, and you know the cases that we have found in the border, in Namanga border, you'll find that most of our hospitals are almost full to capacity. So what has happened, this money that was saved at this particular time, it has been taken to those departments. But nevertheless, it is never late. After maybe this meeting, I'll also try to continue engaging the county government under the Department of Youth and Sports, which is headed by is called Ncharo, and I'm sure we can pick it to another level. Number 3, you talk about public participation. Public participation, there is no office at all that is particularly in charge of public participation. But my office, the office that I'm in, that it is my responsibility that when there is any public participation, I ensure that I call people. And I've been doing that. Philip there, Kina Brian can tell you that in each and every public participation, I've been trying to ensure that they are on board so that their issues can be there. And this is one thing that I want to stress. As we go to this almost July, when we'll be doing our public participation, I'll urge our youths to come out in big numbers. You know why? Numbers never lie. When we come for public participation, that is when we send message home. This is when we tell people that this is what is supposed to happen. This is what we are supposed to achieve. This is the roadmaps. For example, right now, I know there's a lot of complaints in terms of our sports facility, and especially our stadiums. And when the youths come out there, you know, when we come for public participation, we are divided in different sectors. And when we are divided in these different sectors, we ensure that in these meetings, that is when we pass this message, and I'm sure this is going to be productive. About monies that have been said, we have what is called the youth funds. And this is youth funds, they usually come to help youths in terms of starting small business. Like last year, there are groups which were given. But today I want you to take this home. This money is never given to individuals. So what do I mean? If there is any group that wants these funds, you have to come up as a group and register your group. And if there is any team that has any challenge in terms of registration, you are welcome to my office. You don't need to go to Ngong. Just come with institution, the do's and the don'ts. And number 3, come with minutes, the various minutes that you sat down and agreed that you want to register this. And then number 4, come with a bank of your choice. The bank of your choice, which has the signatories. Ensure that you have the chairman, you have the secretary, you have the treasurer, and 2 members. When you have this, ensure that you come with this. Why do you do this? That when time comes for us to give this money to the youths, it is never given to an individual. It is going to be posted to that particular group. And also in part of your proposal, as you apply for those monies when they come out, you have to come and agree. What have you come up together? What do you want to do? Do you want to open a car wash? Do you want to open a shop? What kind of business? Do you want to buy a boda? You come up with something. Money cannot just be given blindly. You have to come and show cause why you people want this money. And I'm sure that is going to help us. So there are monies that are set aside. That is the youth funds. And I'm sure, and in due time, it's only that this corona thing came. In due time, we are going to get this money. And I'm sure it is going to help to be helpful to us.
Thank you, Mushiri. I think maybe we'll take a first round of questions from our audience, from a gentleman and from a gentle lady, just for Tumushiri. Then we'll move to the next panelist, who is Eva. Take another first round of questions that way.
Okay.
So maybe our technical team, if there are two, a gentleman and a gentle lady who have questions for Mushiri, we can take them for now.
She's fine. Halima Nyota. Halima. Are you hearing me, Halima?
When we come.
Hi guys.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, my question in regards to the opportunities available for young people to Mushiri.
Halima,
Yes.
it will be best if kindly you introduce yourself and tell us where you are calling from.
Okay, my name is Halima Nyota from Kakamega County, basically.
Thank you.
Okay, I was asking, I've listened to the conversation from Mr. Mushiri, and I wanted to ask in regards to the opportunities available for young people right now and maybe beyond post-COVID-19.
Yes.
I wanted to ask in regards to the access to government procurement opportunities, like we have the 30% rule, and I wish for him to explain like issues of issuing tenders to young people. How is the county government doing so that young people are not just used as to stamping for the procurement opportunities, but through this conversation, young people are going to be given opportunities to tendering opportunities. That was my question. I don't know if he can answer or not. And my second question, I joined in late. I'm sorry, guys. My second question is: right now, young people are not going to school, right?
Young people are not.
Young people, like most of young people are not going. It is in regards to the education sector. That is. Hello.
Yes. So what was your question?
My question is: right now, the government is giving requests on issues of e-learning platform.
Yes.
Like the government is saying that e-learning is going on, and the KICD is stating that learning is going on, and the policy implementers are saying that the exams are going to be set according to the curriculum that is going to be covered by, which is being covered by the KICD. How sure are we that young people who are not? How sure are we that young people, all of the young people who are learners, are accessing the e-learning platform? That is my question to Mushiri. Now that he's a ward administrator, I'm sure he understands the level or the status of youth who are learners, and he can help us know if actually that our young people are accessing the e-learning.
Mr. Mushiri, you got the two questions from Halima.
I can still pardon if.
Of this team, we need to work towards ensuring that our information gets to our people. For example,
Sorry,
pardon?
you have to start again because by the time you are starting, you are on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, kindly.
Okay. I wanted, I'm saying there's something also which I forgot when we are starting. There's a message that I was supposed to pass, but we need to ask ourselves, and this team, and I'm sure the larger team needs to come up with a way of putting communication and sending messages where there is need. For example, there are some people who are going to be employed, and this is in regard with the presidential directive that was given. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was on 6th April, about employment of people in line of hygiene. And like, for example, Ongata Rongai, I want to pick, like, for example, Ongata Rongai, the different sublocation, they have been told to submit almost 15 names to the chief. And I'm sure, because I was in a certain page this morning, the communication sometimes does not get to the right people. But for the person, Alima, who has asked a question, these are opportunities which we need to ride on. These are opportunities which are meant for the youth, because this job purely goes to the youth, because one of the qualifications, they are not supposed to be more than 30 years. And these are people that are going to be employed very soon. Even for them, I'll say these are opportunities. And even if there's any youth that is around there, you need to go to your area chief and register, because there's some registration that is going on right now, in particular to the issue of the presidential directive. Number two, the constitution stipulates clearly, which without any fear of contradiction, that 30% of the tenders given out is supposed to be given to the youth. But my greatest question that I want to pose to you today, most of the times we cry that youths are not being helped. But my question, do they submit their tenders? Alima, as you are there, do you do it? Because sometimes you find even we call for the youth to come out and register. Do they do it? How many people do that tendering? And if there is any group that does that, they need to come out clear and voice their voice so that they can be heard. Because there's a time that the same question arose, and I asked some of my bosses, I asked my sub county, but the question was, this tender was put in the national gazette, but did they apply? That is the question. But the constitution stipulates clearly that 30% needs to go to the youth, and also there is a portion that is supposed to go to the PWDs. But it is up to us to pull up our socks to ensure that each and every time that these tenders are coming, let them apply, and if possible, they can even forward a copy to me, so that even when I'm talking, I'm not going to be talking in a blank state. If today you tell me to go to the procurement department, I'll just go there, ask them. They say nobody floated their tender. So for this platform that is here, let's ensure that we do that. About the issue of e-learning, I don't want to get to this, because the other day the CS of education, he came with a team. There is a team that has already been set, and this team is to ensure that all the consideration that are in regard with e-learning have been put in the table to ensure that everything goes smoothly. So I will not want to interfere with something that is on process, something that is going on. But one thing that I can say today, because most of the times I'm around in the field, I can say more than 50% or even 70 to 80, they cannot access the e-learning. That is for sure, So it's something that is a challenge, but I'm sure when these teams go around, we can be able to send our messages, we can be able to give our comments, but in reality, these things are not them. For example, right now I'm doing my BA in leadership and management. Most of the students today have been complaining. There's those bundles that were said that you'll be given for free learning, but we have tried to put them you to buy those data. It's not workable. So this is something even us, like Tangaza University, where I am, we have already used our student leader to go and work towards this, because this is a challenge and I'm sure it affects many people. Thank you. Pardon, I can't hear you. I've lost you.
Thank you for answering, Halima, but I'm sure we have more questions for you. But because we have Eva online and she's a service provider, we want also to release her so that she can go and continue with her duties. Maybe we can also allow her to come in and take questions
I've
from
lost you.
our audience. So Mushiri, just hang on.
I'm there, no problem. I'm already out of class, so I can hang on.
Yes, good. Thanks for that. So that we can release Eva. So
Okay.
Eva,
You're able to hear me?
yeah. So it's your turn to get questions, please, and I'll start by asking you just 2 questions, and then we give a chance to our audience to ask you questions too.
Kindly do.
Yeah. So my first question is, you are in Olekasasi Social Center. So maybe, youths are evidence-driven. This is an evidence-driven population.
Yeah.
Can you share with us figures? Do you have numbers of youths that are in quarantine? I mean, are in isolation? The youths from Kajiado County of Kajiado North?
Yeah.
Of the youths that we have in the center, in the isolation center, and how they are doing, how they are faring on.
Yeah.
And then from the same, do we have deaths? Do we have any number of deaths of youths that have died from COVID?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can share that with us. Then number 2 is about reproductive health. We understand that now the young women, adolescent girls and young women and women in reproductive age have a challenge in accessing contraceptives. So this means we are going to have many unplanned pregnancies out of this situation. So as a public health officer from your office, just to make sure that the services are not stopped, what are you doing as an office to see that we still have young women, adolescent girls, and women in reproductive age access contraceptives? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I can start by answering that. Everybody is hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, regarding the youths being affected, how many we have in the isolation centers and in our respective quarantine centers, this one I can assure you, I might not be able to give the right numbers, but like an example, when we had Kibit, so unfortunately we closed it down like a week ago, we had a number of youths who were caught in Rongai at the wrong hour and doing the wrong things, and they were taken to quarantine. I'm sure if those youths, if we have maybe any in our forum, he can be able to tell how frustrating it was to have been quarantined and you didn't expect it. You know, most people have not experienced these 14 days away from your family, away from your friends, away from anybody, and you're all alone. It is not an easy time. And in most cases, we are finding youths are the ones who are going to quarantine because an old man couldn't be able to run out of KMTC wall and get away. Unless that person might have been, maybe if the years were so much, is around 40 to 25, between that age. So our youths are the majority affected. Like in our situation where we are now, we have like 3 admissions maybe, and 2 are youths. So it is not any, though they are suspects, but it is not any special to youths. You know, youths are thinking, oh, we are young, this disease is just catching up with the people who are old age and they have contraindications. No, it is not that. It is a real situation. In regards to death, among the deaths we have, like the president said, we have youths, we have children. So it is not, this COVID is not a disease for the old, neither is it a disease for the sickly, but it is a disease for everyone. So not unless all of us are ready for this, we're gonna get a very rough time to deal with it. On reproductive health, basically I feel this should not affect the community because like you see in Rongai now, we have Saitoti Health Center and we have Olekasasi. Olekasasi is an isolation center. So basically the only services being provided here are for the suspects. But Ongata Rongai is running as usual, just like a normal hospital. It's all activities are the same. Some people might get challenged in Gong, but Ololua is running as usual. So people should just have alternatives. It's better to go far for the service than to ignore and then live with the repercussions. Yes.
Thank you. So we'll take a round of questions for you so that when you go, at least.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we have.
They should be productive chaos.
Yeah, she has answered.
Do you have any caller?
Pardon, I can't hear you.
No.
Uh-huh.
We want the caller to call. Emma.
Yes, I'm still on.
Yeah. Just wait for the audience to ask you questions.
No problem.
Emma.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yes. Thank you for organizing this session. Mine is not a question; it's a comment. If the host, yes.
Just when we start by introducing ourselves and where we are from, kindly, as we move on.
Okay. My name is Emma Nganga. I'm from Kiambu, and I would like to commend the organizers for this session of bringing the youth together. My background is in gender and development, and I am also engaged in crime prevention at the rural cluster. In this regard to this session, following my interest in this discussion, I am also the African Youth Ambassador for Peace for the East African region under the African Union's Envoy, African Union's Peace and Security Department. And my key focus is championing of peace and security with youth as a key population. I would really want to share with these youths in this platform, and I've shared it in the chats. The AU seeks to develop a robust system for youth organizations in the region and also in the continent. So I've shared that link for all of you, please, to register in that database and also share among youth networks, because it will enhance the issues of effective engagements and capacity building among the youth towards youth empowerment. I would like to commend Susan on her efforts on matters gender issues when it comes to she mentioned about the rape of young girls, and also the lady from the health specialist, Eva Kinyua. Yes, I would also like to commend her efforts in this process, and also the ward representative, Mr. Samuel, yes, I believe. He talked about volunteerism coming out. It's very important for us youth to come out and speak as one voice. To add on what youth can actually do during this session of quarantine, I would also like to echo Samuel's voice when it comes to volunteer work. That is key. And this volunteer work, you can also do it online. It doesn't have to be outside, but you can also adapt it online. And also e-learning. There are so many e-learning platforms that you can do so many free courses in various thematic areas. For example, there's YALI, the Young African Leaders Initiative. There is also UNFPA has courses, UNITA, that is the United Nations Training Institute. There's Peace Operations Training Institute. There's so many platforms where, youths can develop themselves via e-learning. And again, this will also boost your resume. That is all. As I had said, it was just a comment. And thank you again for the organizers for this session. I look forward to engaging with you all. And kindly, as I had mentioned earlier, please register in the AU Youth database and share the link to all youth networks in our country and also in the East African region. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have any other question, comment for Eva? Jacqueline Saleyan.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Jacqueline Saleyan Dorcas. I'm from Ngong. I'm the Ajira Digital Youth Empowerment Center Manager. My question to Eva is, there's the confusion on what to do when it comes to an emergency. past the curfew hours. For example, if a mother goes into labor and they have to deliver, like I asked before, if there's a bipolar situation and the trigger is happening, are people allowed to go out in such instances, or are there steps that you should take for you when you're perceiving such a situation for you to be able to get help?
Eva, did you get the question?
Him, I deal with him for transport. Okay, then, thanks.
Eva?
Sorry.
Eva, did you get from?
Yes, I did.
Yes, please.
Okay, I've gotten her question, and I would like to address it in a simple manner.
Okay.
You can get me?
Yeah.
Okay. This issue of having emergencies at night, it's past curfew hours, it's all understandable to everybody, including the enforcement officers and our policemen outside there. So regarding this, what we've been advised to tell our members of the community, sorry I didn't disclose this with the youth, we need to know who can help us at what time of the need. It's right now that we need to know our mzee wa mtaa, wazee wa nyumba kumi, because it's the person who can give you pass to your nearest roadblock or to your nearest place. Again, when we have a sick person, there is no problem. You just move outside. It's a genuine case as long as you don't overdo. Observe the rules. If you're going by a private car, B3 in your car, you'll go to where you're going and make sure there are people back at home who can take the information and you can keep communicating. And on every barrier you find or on every stoppage, kindly stop. The first people you will get will be able to address your issue, and if it is a referral case, you have to go maybe all the way from Ngong to Kenyatta, they'll do you a letter and stamp, and that will be your letter to travel with all the way to Kenyatta, and nobody will disturb you. Regarding the rest on maybe I've found many people suffering. You have a barrier maybe at Ushago, you're in town, you can't go. It is a big process, but it's wanting because sometimes we need it. You'll go to your area chief, report the case, and then he'll advise you accordingly. After all the letters are sent, you'll be sent to this isolation center. We'll get to examine you and see if you're fit for traveling, and we will stamp your letter, and you can now continue with your journey.
Okay, thanks for on that. Do we
Thank
have
you.
any other question for Eva?
What is sweater? After sweater, why?
Someone?
Yeah, I wanted to add on something that you have asked about permits. It's only that people right now we have tried to the measures are not that tough like that before. It's very, very simple. If someone wants to travel, 2 weeks ago, before this thing was changed, I used even to give it in my office. You will come to my office, I'll give you a letter and you'll travel. But right now, there before we used to send people to Ngong, but after sitting down, because I'm part of the COVID-19 team, we saw this is a big challenge. Somebody has lost maybe a relative, somebody maybe has issues that are very, very wanting, and we have lowered this to a chief's level. You just go to your area chief, he will write a letter to you. But if you're going for a burial, ensure that you have carried the burial permit. If you have the burial permit, even if it's from far, let them scan it and send it to you. And you just come to your area chief, you'll be given a letter and you're good to go. And then about maybe issues of moving, like today, there's somebody who has gone to Nakuru. The mom was terribly sick. This thing is understandable. There's nothing that is cast on a stone. Come to the office, present yourself. If you have any kind of documentation, just bring it on, and you'll be allowed to move around. You remember even when the president was being asked, and not even it was not the president. I think it was CS. He was being asked, "What about when people have emergencies?" He said, "This thing is not cast in a stone. You can explain yourself and you'll be allowed to move out."
Just a concern I want to raise, maybe Mushiri, probably maybe give his view on it. Last time I think when we had public participation on the social hall, there's a concern, there's something I noted that probably I would like to probably maybe look into it and also probably maybe.
Let me interrupt. Can I kindly leave? Yes. Can I kindly leave? I have something to attend to.
Okay.
So any other question for Eva before she leaves? Eva, thank you so much. I think our audience doesn't have more questions for you. Thank you so much for the sacrifice you're making to see that the population is well. Thank you even for your time. Thank you so much. You are one of the unsung heroes we have in this country. And we look forward to have another meeting, and kindly avail yourself in case we need your participation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate having the chance to speak to our youth and to speak maybe to everybody who was in this forum. I'm grateful. Let me kindly address Anisha at the facility.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Okay. Be blessed, Abadan.
Wow. We are moving on.
Yeah.
We are moving on in a good way. Those were our panelists. So now we want to start this discussion, and we are seeing people are reacting, commenting, those things. We need them coming, and even still, if you want to call, just call. But if you call, at least introduce yourself and where we are from. So here I want to tackle. Brian said something which stuck into my mind. It said that. He said that us youths, unapata saa zingine unaenda unashikwa, you don't know your rights. So I just wanted to ask them, because he talked about one thing that youths, do you know your rights when policeman comes to take you, or maybe unaenda unafungwa unafanya kitu ama unakuwa tortured? No. So at least he's the best person who can advise us on how to tackle these situations in a positive way, not in a negative way. Because at the end of the day, law is law, and we have to follow the protocols.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I think we'll come to you as a panelist with your set of questions. So I think we finish with Mushiri first.
Yes.
Yeah, we finish with Mushiri first, and even the audience that have questions for him, they ask. We finish with him, then I think we'll come to you.
Thank you.
So do we have any from the audience, any person with a burning question? Someone, Mushiri?
I wanted to ask him a question.
Yeah. Mushiri?
Yes.
I hope you're still there. Brian has a question. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Mr. Mushiri, this is a question and a concern. And probably maybe it may be very educative even for the youth, because again, as you had said before, that most of the youth have not been participating for reasons probably maybe with those who wish to know, and probably will be told from this forum why youth has not been participating as such. But last when I remember when we met at the social hall there, so there was a point whereby the MCA was speaking and was trying to contribute to the matters that were coming to the floor. And the moment the MC was standing up to speak, you would see a number of youths standing up and shouting and screaming and clapping for the MCA, all the issues that he was trying, for example, maybe to raise. On the other hand, when other people stand up to speak, or when they are given the opportunity to speak, there's no one probably maybe to contribute, and even at some point they will jeer some of the people who are participating or contributing to the matters that are being raised. And I saw this is a trend probably that can be encouraged, or that can be part of the public participation, then it's going to discourage so many people from being part of this public participation. And so my concern is probably maybe from your office or from the office of the public participation, even through the sub-county office and even the county office. I think you should have a mechanism, a methodology of how do we participate. How, there should be a way of how probably going to air our views.
Okay, I have an answer towards this, and I'm sure this can help us in a way forward. most of the times those functions, they are filled with some those maybe kelele mingi, people just raising up, talking the way they feel like they want to talk. The way forward for this, so that we can have a success of everything, when you see this thing is being gazetted, because it's usually is a constitution obligation for it to be put in the newspaper. When you see this thing being put in the newspaper, before the D-Day, a team of the youth can sit down, come with their own proposal, write it let it be written down, and then that particular day of the public participation, you can just come and contribute. But in extent to that, give a copy to the public participation officers. Let them sign a copy, remain with a copy, and this can help in a follow-up. So that this can help just not letting it just fall in a anyhowly. So that's my advice, that before coming to a public participation, let us ensure that we write it down. Let me give a good example. The other day, there's these lorries, our watu ambao wana travel na lorries. What they did, they had a complaint about the fee that they are being charged. When they saw this could not come through during the public participation, then they came for that particular function. But they came with their own proposal. You know, public participation is your proposal against the county's proposal. So write down, come up with something written down and present it. And then through this, you can even do a better follow-up, because public participation comes and goes. But within no time, a team of youth can come together and ask, whatever we proposed, where has it gotten to? Because you have all the chances, even if you are not going to be here, come to my office, we can call the relevant department, and we can even go and see Waziri of that particular group.
Thank you, Mr. Mushiri. Thank you so much for that suggestion, because you are talking to many youths. These are concerns sometimes we are also that are also thrown onto our head. And so when you answer now from the side of the government, that is very helpful. Another concern is when these public participation meetings take place, it's usually during which it is Monday to Friday. And you find that between Monday and Friday, most of the people are working, have gone to their jobs and such. So you find the people that are usually left in the villages or in the community are those people probably maybe are not working. The elderly people, and idlers, when they use the word idlers, most of them they are there. And there has been such a concern where we've been challenged as the CSOs and such, that is it possible for the government probably to consider maybe to have these public participations on weekends, Saturday and Sundays? They just set aside some 2-3 hours whereby you can have we also can have professionals attending these forums. Because you find, like, for example, most of the people who are attending those public participation meetings, mostly they are not those people who can contribute much sensible issues and matters that are affecting the community. Because like, when you bring about the physical language, or probably maybe the budget cycle of the county, and you tell them, like, for example, you are budgeting 33 million per ward, and this 33 million per ward will go to specific projects. These people probably might not even be able to know the social auditing mechanism. So it becomes a bit difficult for those people. So if you ask them, most of them, what happened, even what was discussed, it becomes a challenge. So I don't know, from your office, and probably maybe moving higher to the higher authorities there, or probably you can also address that. And again, also moving the same, having, like, for example, those reports, those communications of the public participation meetings, probably maybe shared through churches, through religious organizations, because sometimes you wonder, how are those communications made? Because not all people can access the daily media and the magazines there. So if it would be possible, probably to have that communication through churches and such organizations. Thank you.
Okay. To sum it up, I want to say this, my brother Brian. it's important for us now as a way forward. Yes, we can suggest that about weekends, but for this to be success, sometimes it's not about the number. Let's ensure that in each and every public participation, there's the representation. What do I mean? For example, if it's the youth, it's not a must we come 50 people. Let us, through these forums that you people are creating, let us come up with a team that when we are working at this public participation there, yes, some of us maybe, some of the people may be working, but let us have representation. Let's ensure that in each and every forum, there is well represented. I give a good example. This public participation, that's why unaona hawa wazee wanafaulu. They use the nyumba kumi leaders. You find the nyumba kumi, when he comes there, he comes him and maybe two other, and they write their agendas. Ndio unakuta zetu hizo za youth na wengine zote zinapotelea. Inapotelea kwa sababu wale watu wamejipanga in such a way. So even for us, let's ensure we can sell. I can sell that about weekends. I can sell that about Saturday and Sunday because it falls in my office. But for in future, let us have good representation. That when we are coming to this meeting, let us speak one voice. Why am I saying so? You'll find the youth of Ngong speaking different from the youth of Ongata Rongai. So youth from East speaking their own thing. We can set it in such a way that if it's a youth from Kajiado North, let us speak one voice. Kwa sababu mkikuja mnaongea hii na wale wengine wanaongea different, at the end of the day we are not going to succeed. Let us zeroize it, that if it's issues of Rongai, we have one person who speaks one voice, rather than maybe Philip anasimama kivyake, Slasha anasimama kivyake, kina Minju wanasimama kivyao. So we are not going to sell that thing because kila mtu you look confused. But when you have something structured, something documented, that when you are standing, you are saying, I'm not standing here as a youth of Ongata Rongai only. I'm standing here on behalf of the youth of Kajiado North. I'm standing here on behalf of the entire youth of the Kajiado County at large. That will help us, and it will make even our voice be heard. Wacha to avoid kugawanyishwa, kwa sababu tukigawanishwa hatutaweza kusimama na msimamo mmoja. And also we need a checklist in this way, that when we have sent this proposal, there is a time that they usually come again in a public participation to bring what was discussed and what was picked. Let us have those follow-ups so that it does not flop on the way, and this will be very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mushiri.
There's a guy who has a burning question, a youth from Gong.
Okay.
Is called Brian Munene.
Brian Monena, I know Brian, yes.
Amesema, how do youth take public participation?
Pardon?
How do youth take public participation regularly?
Regularly.
Yeah.
I think what we can do as the way forward, because I'm sure that we can have many meetings. Let us even remove the word public participation. Let us be thinking about particular times that we can work and meet the different departments. This is something workable. Tell me today the youths have come up together and they want to meet a certain leader. For example, if it's issues of sports, let us put it as something that is done regularly. Let us not be waiting for the public participation. For Brian, what I'll tell Brian Monene from Gong, what I'll tell him, let us be bringing our youths together. The other day, I met with these karate people, and I told them, you guys organize yourself. You have been complaining, nobody supports you. Come up together. Tell me, I can organize in such a way that the CECM of youth and sports will come and meet you. So that we don't just wait for that particular one meeting. Let us be coming up together. And even next time, I'll request, even if you guys want, in the next panel, if you want any person from the county government, I think we can bring him along and he can come and sit there and people can ask him questions. So let us not just be waiting for that particular public participation, but we can create more forums and we can even zero it in different words. Words, or maybe even if it's west, because I know others are listening from outside north, we can be organizing in such a way that we can move and send our agendas home. Because sometimes we say we have not been helped, but the problem is, have we brought forth the things that we need it be done to us?
Thank you.
Thank you
So,
so much.
so that we give each panelist a chance to address questions and concerns, please let's move to Susan. Susan is a
Before I leave, there's somebody I invited in the meeting, and I'm sure you're going to give her a chance.
Yes.
She's doing something for the Jacqueline later.
Yeah, later to the another round, so that each panelist can have a chance.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mushiri. In case you're leaving, we really appreciate. Thanks for your sacrifice.
I'm me. I'll be there until the end.
Thank you so much. So we are giving now a chance to Susan. So if we have any of the person from the audience to ask Susan questions. Then we can move on to Austin. Austin is the panelist who spoke to us on the online opportunities. So if we have any person from the audience who has a question for Austin, this is their chance. Anybody from the audience who has a question for Austin, you can raise your hands.
Tunaenda. Hi. Mine actually was to the ordered me.
John, start by introduction and the location you are calling from, kindly.
My name is John Henry.
Yeah.
I'm calling from the famous Olekasasi. I work at one of the local universities in Kajiado. And thank you for inviting me to this. I just wanted to maybe pass some idea now that we don't know when this COVID is going to get out of this place, to the county government with the public participation. I believe, or I tend to think, that we've not held any since for the last 3 months because of the curfew and the what is happening, the cessation, and also the gathering controls. So we also need not to stick on the traditional means of getting hold of people's views in public participation. Why can't we also try and think, and this is an opportunity, by the way, in which we can also include more youth, like the way we've brought people together. Can we try and embrace technology in getting views of the youth who may not be able to make it into your meetings, physical meetings, or even through the leaders? For example, in such a, you can do as a Zoom meeting or an online meeting with youth leaders from different places, so that you get views in one way or another. Maybe you can do an emailing thing. You give an email so that people can be giving views. For example, what NEMA does when they have proposed projects, you can email and get people's views. Yes, so I think also it is good what you guys are doing, and I'm glad for that. But also try and think of people who may not be able to make it to the physical meetings. You may also try to think about technology on how you can include them into this. And also the issue with Ongata Rongai, I think we tend to be the bedroom, Ongata Rongai and Ngong, to be the bedroom of Nairobi. I don't know what the county is doing about the revenue allocation, because we tend to be the ones who generate more, who give more to the county government, but most of it goes to Kajiado town or those other regions. I know there should be balancing, but also remember the services also should be rendered to the guys who give you more of this. So I think also you should work with the MCA and see on ways in which we can make our lives easier. It's very sad that you work and stay in Rongai, or you stay in Rongai, but you don't have a sewer system, surely. Okay? So that's just a ways in which I'm thinking. And also check on the drug abuse, being that we host a lot of local learning institutions around with the youth idle. So the issue of drug should also be checked on, what the nurse talked about. So thank you so much. Maybe Michelle, you can talk about the involvement using technology.
Mushiri, but just before Mushiri responds to that, do we have any other person from the audience who has a question for Susan or to Austin? Do we have any person from the audience who has a question for Mushiri, for Austin and Susan? If not, then I think Mushiri can respond to that.
Guys, we are moving on well. So actually there is an audio. We wanted you to listen to it, just kidogo. Then when we come back immediately, now we are going to maybe finalize everything. Yeah, and finalize. So Mushiri, kindly come back on air, respond. Then we put that small video at least for people to hear. Thank you. Mushiri?
Okay. Thank you so much. We take it positively. Number one, he has talked about us thinking about where we can be sending our messages. Let me, what I'm thinking today, which I'm sure you guys can know how it can get to the people. Philip and Brian, you can look or you can check on me by Monday. Let me get a county email so that we can have even a way that we can be sending our messages direct to the people in charge. So I will look for, I'll request for an email, and then on Monday, I'll give it out so that issues that pertains the youth, it can go directly to Waziri. Because as the speaker was there before, he has said that at this particular time, because we have not met for several months, it will take some time for us to get back to this normal meeting. But if we have a channel that we can send our messages, I'm sure they'll get there. And also I'll furnish you with my email so that if there's any issue, I'm always there to help you. I'm always there to work to ensuring that youths are comfortable. And if you have any kind of activity today that you feel that you are not being helped at any capacity, just come along. I may not have the solution, but I can give you a way forward. And I'm sure this is going to help. About allocation of money, that is something that maybe it can be discussed in another level. Because when you talk about, for example, Kajiado North giving a lot of revenue compared to somewhere like West, those are things that cannot be handled at our level. It is up to us to pick it and take it to the MCA, because the MCAs are the ones who go to their parliament and discuss about allocation of money. About post-COVID, things that we can do after post-COVID, this is something that we need to sit down and see the way forward. But for me, one advice that I'm going to give the youth today, and which I'm going to leave to you, let's ensure that before even post-COVID, if you are 2, 3, 5 people, register a group. Because even if I get any support today, I cannot give you as an individual. Ensure that we are ready so that we wait for those opportunities that may come on the way. And I'm sure after this meeting, also, I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm going to write a report and give in regard to this particular meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mushiri.
Now, before the video, Mr. Mushiri, I understand you had a visitor. Kindly introduce him to us so that he feels at home before maybe we go for the break.
There's something that we have a lady by the name Jacqueline, and there's some post that she was posted recently at Kajiado North, and I invited her because the other day she had something to do with ICT, and I saw it's important for her to come to this meeting so that she can give her input towards the youth and also the way forward, because she has been posted recently to Kajiado North.
Yes. Is she
So she's already in. I saw her. She came very early. She's in the meeting.
Jacqueline who?
Is it Seleyan?
I think she spoke
Yes.
earlier.
She already talked.
Yes.
So
She
maybe
talked.
officially
Yes, she
introduce
has.
her so that, yeah.
Okay.
Jacqueline, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
As I said before, my name is Jacqueline Saleyan Dorcas, and I am here together with my colleague. His name is Brian Munene. We have two other more colleagues that were supposed to join us, but of course, sometimes network issues interrupt with such meetings. But we hope we are able to represent them fully and well. So Brian, Faith, Ramadan, and myself, we have been posted in Kajiado County as the Ajira Youth Empowerment Center managers. So maybe I'll give a brief introduction on what Ajira Digital Program is. It is a program by the Ministry of ICT. It is driven by the Ministry of ICT, which was launched by the government starting 2016. And up till now, we are looking to launch centers where the youth can be trained on gig and freelancing packages, which will help them do online work. What our vision is to have about 1 million Kenyan youth earn a decent wage from digital and digitally enabled jobs annually. What I'm happy about is we have Austin Okore, who is already doing this. Maybe after this forum, I would like to meet him more and maybe know what more he does. But I'm also an online worker. I earn on average 15,000 per week, so that makes it about 60,000 per month, which for a youth like me, it is.
Come again about the figures.
I earn like 15 to 20,000 per month.
15
per week. Sorry, per week.
Per week. So
yes.
That makes it like 60,000,
60 to 80, yes.
80.
Yes.
80,000
so,
per month.
A month.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am a testimony that online work indeed pays, but it also takes a lot of dedication and a lot of learning, and that's why the Ajira Digital Youth Centers are there. We were hoping to have them launched this year because as you've heard, we've just been posted to Kajiado North. But because of the COVID situation, we are currently working on plans to see how we'll be able to run these centers. However, we are mobilizing the youth. Like the last week, I've talked to a couple of youth leaders from Gong, from Kaimoronya, from Rongai, from Ololua and Olkeri. So we are currently in the process of mobilizing the youth. If I am allowed at this point, I would like to welcome Brian Munene to add something little on the Ajira Digital.
Before you welcome Brian, where are your offices in Gong?
We have not yet been assigned the centers yet because we are waiting for logistics because of the COVID-19, which has kept us away from the centers. But we are going to be under the office of the Member of Parliament.
Office of
that is the Member of Parliament.
Okay.
So that is as far as we know as at now.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you.
So I would like to invite Munene to add on to what I've said. Munene, please. you could unmute Monene, Brian Monene.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think she has said most of the things, but one of the things is we will have a station, one in Rongai and one in Gong. For now, at least that is what we know. But due to the situation, we are trying to see how we can change platforms from physically coming to train the youth into engaging them online before we can actually do it. Because now this is the new normal. We're not going back to what we used to be. This is the new normal. So we have to find our way all around.
Brian, can you
Yes.
just hold on there? We are just taking a short break and then we come
Okay.
give you a chance, then you.
There's a video we want to play right now, and there's this question that has really interested me before that video comes, and it's for Susan actually. Tukirudi ataitakwa ameulizwa a question for Susan. What help does she need from the county and national government? Wow, that's so dope. So guys, we are coming back after the video. Thank you.
Wewe leo peleka na ukohoa yako na uko mbali bwana. Na kohoa aje hapa. Ina hii makorona. Nini makorona tunaletea sisi?
Hapana mzee, wacha stigma.
Hiyo mnakohoa aje?
Kwa sasa hatuwezi jua, hii labda inaweza kuwa ni homa. Hatuwezi jua mpaka apimwe.
Ai, anapimwa aje bwana?
Na iko ushauri wa daktari, tuache stigma.
Wewe songa huko mbali bwana.
Tuache stigma mzee, wacha utafute ushauri wa daktari.
Haya, tafuta basi ushauri haraka.
Unapotambua kwamba mmoja wenyu ana dalili zinazoambatana na zile za corona, si vizuri kumkashifu wala kumdhulumu. Badala yake, tumsaidie kupata ushauri kwa njia inayofaa.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Uraia Trust wakishirikiana na Kenya Medical Association. Pamoja tukomeshe corona.
We, mumesikia? Kijana wa mzee Tumbo amerudi kutoka quarantine na baba yake amemruhusu aingie kwa nyumba.
Ala, amerudi? Yule ako na corona?
Hey.
Na si atatumaliza.
Kama ni mimi hiyo mzee, siwezi kubali leo kijana ingie kwa nyumba yangu. Nafukosa na hiyo.
Kwende kabisa
Wewe, yani wanaume mpaka nyinyi siku hizi mko na moshene. Ni ukweli kijana wa mzee Tumbo amerudi, lakini hana virusi vya COVID. Niwaulize kama nyinyi mlikuwa na corona, mungependa kufanywa stigma namna hiyo? Bushikeni njia muende zenu.
Ni jukumu letu sote kuwakaribisha na kuwapokea wale ambao wamepitia quarantine na kuhakikisha ya kwamba hatuwatengi ili kuwasaidia kurudia maisha yao ya kawaida.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Uraia Trust wakishirikiana na Kenya Medical Association. Pamoja tukomeshe corona.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for that small break. As we go on, after Brian Munene, we'll go straight to Susan, at least to answer that question. What help does she need from the county and the national government? Thank you.
Brian Munene, are you still there?
Good evening.
Brian,
Good evening. Well, I think Jacqueline had mentioned a lot of what I was meant to say. The only thing I was just meant to add is that we are going to we will have a station in Gong and another in Rongai. So we hope that the youth are going to take up these opportunities. Thank you.
Brian?
Check guy, who was the question? Question was, what help need from the county and national government?
Okay, thank you for that, and thanks to the one who asked the question. First of all, it's by understanding what problem do we have in our community that we want to really solve. One, when we are talking about menstrual hygiene, for the young girls who are back in Ngong, in Ololwa Ward, in Kaimurunya, most of them used to survive on the donations that were brought in schools. So my question to you, and I know Brian, who's the one who asked, and you're from the office of the MP, what measures have you put in place to ensure that these young girls still have access to their sanitary towels, and which I can attest to right now, no one is providing them for them, because you find most of them are depending on well-wishers who are very rare to find right now. So if there's a way the county government can work to ensure that each and every girl from each and every community has access to these sanitary towels, and to ensure that the ones who are in charge of this process are people who are genuine, people who we can really trust, and we can track down to what they are doing. The other issue is that the young girls and the young boys, what they are facing right now is economic problems. My wish will be if the county government, the jobs that you're offering right now, people right now need money and they need food. If there's a way you're going to work and work with me to ensure that at least these girls have a source of income at this moment. Because if someone has a source of income, even the levels of GPV at least will reduce. Because this person is in a position to provide for themselves. Yeah, they are empowered. That is. So if that is the main concern right now, their menstrual hygiene and the economic empowerment. Yeah, even for the Ajira Digital, they can draw it down and ensure that these girls are included. Of which, if they won't be included, I will fight for them to be included because they must. Yeah.
And I think you're also just trying to bring the issue of sustainability of these projects, so that if you have one partner who is supporting today and maybe they withdraw or they drop out, we still have a sustainable product program for them.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other person, maybe for Susan? Jacqueline? Jacqueline, do you have something for Susan?
Maybe I will a small comment for Susan.
Okay.
I have been for the past year giving girls sanitary towels in Olekastasi and a place called Juakali Snam. What I have realized is that for us to solve this girl issue, we have to change the attitude of the community so that everybody is able to embrace the fact that there are girls who need sanitary towels. At this point, what I've realized is many well-wishers are backing down because their financial situation is not stable because of the COVID. So maybe I would encourage all of us as we champion for the girl child. If you're here, people like John Henry, Morengi, buy a sanitary pad and give it to one girl somewhere in Gong, somewhere in Gaimoronya, Let us make this a community problem and solve it within ourselves to the best of our knowledge. How maybe I'm getting the girls sanitary pads is during the mentorship program that I teach them about their self-worth, self-respect, and self-esteem, I managed to visit some of them, their homes. So instead of waiting for us to go to school to give them the pads, some of them I'm able to track them down to their homes. And I give them these pads and I tell them, do you know, for example, where Mary lives? If I don't know where Mary's home, then I'm like, you can take this also to Mary, so that I make sure like the girls in my network get sanitary towels. She mentioned about the Ajira digital program and targeting the girls. By the end of 2020, we have a plan of having 60 to 70% of those trained to be youth who are girls vis-a-vis women. So the Ajira digital program is embracing women empowerment, and that's something we take very seriously.
Okay, thank you, Jacqueline, for the pause here. So any other person who has something for Susan? Brian Munene, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Yes, please. Sorry, we cut you short, but now this is your time.
No, I believe Jacqueline has done everything, but I'll also ask Susan if she could do a proposal.
Okay.
She can drop them in the relevant offices, and things would be done. I believe they would be done. It's all about paperwork. As Moshiri said, the only thing that we lack is that drive to actually come and say what you want and what you need. The offices there are open to public and are ready to facilitate and help. So if she can do that and other youth do that, they will get help.
Okay. Thank you. So when you've talked about maybe she can do proposals and drop them at the office. So do you do like calls for proposals, or she can just drop them anytime? Or do you have a specific period for calls for proposals?
I would say it's open.
It's open.
It's open, and considering that this is a government office, and both national and county government work with the same kind of calendar, this is one of the best times to bring a proposal because we are going into a new financial year. So you can, for some people, they can adjust some few things to see if it can fit within their budget. So I would say this is more or less the right time, or a little bit behind the right time, but it's something that can be done simply before we go into the next financial year.
And Brad, not so many youths know how to write these proposals. And I'm sure some of the things that make them not get these grants. So do you have a chance to capacity build maybe youths like Susan on how to write good proposals?
I believe. Okay, I would say it is open. You can download these things. Most of the government offices don't have a template of it, so anything that you write down is okay. But I can commit myself and ask her to look for me because I know she can find me. Look for me, and we can see what we can do and develop one and drop it at the office.
Yeah, I think that's a good response than just saying that they can write anything. You know, anything can.
You see, we move from a point of not knowing to a point of knowledge.
Yeah.
When you come and drop off a letter in a request of such a form, the relevant offices will tell you we would love or prefer you doing ABCD because it's not cast as Moshiri said, it's never cast on stone. So first bring your plea in order for you to be facilitated and get a way forward.
Yes. I'm sure Susan has taken that in. So we have also Austin, one of the panelists, who has a question for Susan.
Yeah.
Before you ask, quickly, Jacqueline Saleyan Dorcas has told Susan that she has extra parts and she has sent her number. Yeah, so maybe you can contact her after here and see how maybe you are going to get those sanitary towels.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for the share. Awesome. Austin?
It's so beautiful how I have something in common with Jacqueline. Actually, I was going to just address the same thing. Mushiri said that numbers never lie. We are a crowd, yeah? And we are youths. As much as some youths cannot get access to sanitary pads, there are some like us who can, yeah? For instance, I got a chance to also build another business around sanitary pads. These were pads that were very premium pads, and they were getting rid of endometriosis, cramps. There's a very scientific way to explain that. Of course, these pads are expensive, but all that I wanted to say, if at times we cannot depend on now the government to give us all that we need, but if we have numbers, if you have like 1 million youths, the people who are listening to this platform, yeah, talk to 5 people you know, right? And that's around just about 1,000 people who can donate 2-3 pads. I just wanted to say that I have these premium pads. I'm building a business around it, and also me here, I can donate like some pads. They're very premium pads. One pad goes for like 1,000 shillings. Very, very high standard pads. And maybe I can just give 1 or 2 so that maybe you guys can and put kidogo kidogo too.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing Jacqueline is doing. And if you can do all that, it will be amazing.
I think it would also be nice also for those who are giving, if one person could donate even if it's 1,000, it could go a long way in helping these young people.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think maybe they can put the number there and then someone can check, then we communicate and see how to. It's a short-term solution as we try to come up with a long-term solution.
Sure.
And adding on that of sanitary towels, there was a time it's called Activate. Activate International
Community.
Yeah, community. They had given us some parts. Actually, Brian is the witness. He was the one who gave us through the director and the Vicodec. Theirs are recyclable. So it's office chief. So maybe from there you can get zingine.
Beautiful.
You can get from the chief's office.
Thank you.
So I think we can, for the sake of time, we can take a last round of questions. The last one, then I think we close for today. Yeah. You have a question? Sam?
Somebody has challenged me there.
Sam,
somebody has said if Moshiri is going to buy a pad, I will also buy. So I take that challenge. How much is one? How much are we buying one?
We are buying one for 50 shillings.
We have one for 50 shillings.
We have
80
one,
shillings.
yes, so it depends.
But you can buy for 80 shillings.
Yes.
Hiyo ni mingi sana.
I think the price is not the issue.
Let me do by Monday.
Quality and quantity.
Let me just buy by Monday. I'll give 2,000 Kenya shillings.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. You are restoring the dignity of some girls.
Sure.
Okay, I'll do it, no problem.
Forward to see.
Okay.
And before Moshiri disappears, Kaidi, there's something I want to say.
Wacha kwanza kabla Brian uongee, mtu mwenye amepeana hiyo challenge anaitwa Munene. Amesema if Moshiri is going to buy, I'm going to buy. Sasa si nimebuy, si hata anunue.
Thank you so much. We receive it in advance with thanks.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
And the viewers, this is a good challenge. Yeah, this is a good challenge. We are not doing it for us, but for the other people. So kindly, kwa message hapo, just say maybe unaweza toa packet ngapi ya sanitary towels, because itaenda kusaidia mtu. Kindly, the people who are there, just say maybe I'll donate maybe 1 box, ama 2 boxes, then leave your number there, then we have guys who will follow.
And we can also share Susan's number, Susan's contact, so that anyone who wants to access Susan, kindly, please just call her there. And I just wanted to say something before Moshiri disappears, because honestly speaking, why even when we were planning this Zoom meeting and why we brought in Moshiri is because we as the citizens, we as a youth, we as Kenyans, it's like we have been having a disconnect between the government people or the government workers and us. And in between, there has been kind of a gap or a disconnect. And so we wanted Moshiri to speak on behalf of who is government and how the government comes into our lives and how we can collaborate and work together with the government. And you can see now, for example, the discussion Moshiri has had with us has brought us to even his donating to us, and he is now part of, like, for example, ensuring that it's going to affect the community. So what I'm trying to put across is that Moshiri's office, he has told us that it is well open 24 hours, 5 days a week. So you can access him, and he's also going to give you his contact. You can go and share with him, Susan, and the rest of us. Go and talk with Moshiri. And again, also, I'm also challenging the youth. The office of the OCS, the office of the DCIO, the office of the county commissioner, the office of the ACC, assistant county commissioner. Please, these are public offices. And these public offices, these people are employed because of me and you. And they are there to serve us. But we have created kind of a disconnect whereby if I tell Philip today to go and say hi to the OCS, he's going to tell me, Brian, if I go to the OCS, I'll be arrested. And so, and this has been the culture, this has been the practice out there. So I'm trying to call upon all the youth, please. And I've been organizing. Last week we met the MCA for Ogatarurai. We were supposed to meet Mr. Moshiri. So from this meeting, we are like, for example, going, it's part of the take home from these meetings that we are going to organize, going to arrange how we'll be alliancing, working together with relevant government offices, different government offices and different government workers. Thank you very much.
And on that note, the challenge is going on good. We have Nancy Sitima. She has pledged to give 1,000.
Wow.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah. And Shiri has sent his number there. And now we are going to send Susan's number.
Susan, say your number.
Yeah, 0705 77
0705
0705 38.
Go ahead. 0705
I used to forget.
Let me read it for her.
0705 77 38 97. Susan Wairimu.
Yeah. Or you can also drop the parts in our office folder.
Yes. Yeah.
We are at Ngong Hills Plaza, room number 36 or number 38. You can drop the parts there, then they will reach Susan at any time.
And on that note, still, we have a hotline number in case of you need help, maybe SGBV, this situation Susan I mentioned and everything. We have a hotline number is 07 13 423 445. I repeat, 07 13 423 445. It will be direct to the forwarded offices. So from there, if you have any queries or anything, any challenges.
Maybe before we finish, Austin, are you comfortable if you can share your number so that
Yeah.
maybe youths can also ask you on mentorship?
Okay, all I'd like to say is that yes, you can contact me. I'm always willing to mentor and also build people as matters related to online business. And just to show you how important this is, I managed to start my business when somebody believed in me. So somebody invested like between 6,000 to 12,000, helped me build a business. I paid it back, and now I'm building my own business. So for the same reason, I would also be willing to anyone who's very hungry. I'm going to help them. I'm going to sponsor them between 6,000 and 12,000 to start a business. For as long as you're hungry, and after you make profits, then you just get it back, because I know you will. So you can share my number with anyone. 200 people, I can do it. It's very manageable for me because it's technology. So we can just communicate.
So your number?
So my number is 0729
0729
912 599
599
or 07. I can do it again. 0729 912 599.
Okay.
And for my other number is 0782 57 17 52. Yes, so you share it with anyone who's willing and who's hungry enough to build a business from home, and who's very willing to learn, because I will show you what to do. Otherwise, thank you.
Yeah, and we hope that the youth are going to be serious.
Where are you based, Okore?
I think
it's online.
I think it's online. So,
online.
So actually your mobile phone is your office.
Yeah, it's your office.
In my business.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter whether you're in Kakamega or whether you're in Ushago, it doesn't matter. Yes. For as long as you have access to internet and you're willing to build a business, that's it.
Thank you. So if
me too. I should also share mine.
Oh yeah.
And because for me, and I had said earlier on, I'm a civic educator. I'm a legal expert, and in what you call capacity building, governance, and socio community development. If anyone there wants to have civic education, governance empowerment programs, I'll be available. You can contact me. And if you have legal matters, for example, those people have been arrested. We are dealing also with matters probably maybe as I had said earlier, extrajudicial killings. You have people who have not been represented in court and they are maybe languishing in prisons and such. All legal matters that probably maybe are bothering you wherever you are, kindly just call me. My number is 0733 312 775. My email is briansjpc@gmail.com.
Brian's number is 0733
0733 312 775. So my email is briansjpc, that's my email, @gmail.com.
And we have here Maria Nyambane. I have enjoyed the session. Thanks, Susan, for the invite. We'll air your project in next publication.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. She's my good friend from Masha Arts. Yeah, she owns a magazine there. And thank you so much for attending the meeting.
Thank you. So thank you so much, guys, for our audience, everybody who zoomed in. Thank you so much for your participation. The panelists, Samuel Mushiri, thank you so much for your time. We really honor you and appreciate the good work that you're doing for the citizens to make this country a better place for all of us. Thank you, Eva, although she left, but we also appreciate her efforts through the Ministry of Health. Thank you, Sabla, for inviting your colleague Eva in. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Philip, and our technical team. They are behind, you can't see them. They are the people that have made this possible. We really appreciate them. Without them, we couldn't have this Zoom. We thank you so much for making this possible, that we can now have a conversation with the people outside there. Thank you, all of us. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for, I almost said COVID. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, and God bless you. So we are looking forward to have another Zoom meeting. We will invite you guys and we'll tell you when it shall be ready.
So, ladies and gentlemen, they say in Swahili, kilicho na mwanzo lazima kiwe na mwisho. And thank you guys for being patient for the 2 hours and 30 minutes. All these the things you have aired, at least you will get them in the report. So once again, thank you, and I'd like to acknowledge the technical team who managed to set up these good things, the camera, floodlights, and stuff. We have Dandario. Dandario was the camera guy with the lights and everything. We have Kevin Award. Kevin Award was our tech guy. We organized to zoom from one person to another. And we have Dennis Kinwa, who was the one who did this setup, beautiful setup. And now I want to thank the Forum for Women in Development and Democracy, and also to thank Nancy Sitima for believing in us and believing in youth. And also thank Uraya, Kenya National Civic Education, for this honorable platform, and for all the panelists. Thank you. See you in the next Zoom, and this time round. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Bosi yangu mimi amerudi, niko sawa sawa, nimekaa siku 14 huko quarantine, wamepima mimi kila kitu, niko sawa, hata nyinyi mnafaa mpimwe sasa.
Wewe Olemenye, ninajua ulikuwa watchman mzuri, lakini vile ulienda quarantine, uende kabisa. Mimi sitaki mtu anashukiwa na COVID akuje kufanya tena kazi kwangu.
Mzee wangu, washa Olemenye arudi kazi. Kama amepimwa na amepatikana ako negative, ni nini ingine? Washa rudi kazi. Olemenye, rudi kazi, daongea na mzee.
Asante sana mama, asante sana.
Tusiwafute wafanyikazi wetu kazi kwa sababu wamepitia quarantine. Kumbuka, kujua hali yao ya corona ni haki yao, na pia ni kulinda awapendao na hata wewe mwajiri wake. Tukomeshe unyanyapaa kazini.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Uraia Trust wakishirikiana na Kenya Medical Association.